Go ahead, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Let's go ahead and get it right into it. We're going to be looking at Week 2 Prizepicks props from the Thursday night game between Minnesota and Philadelphia. First player we're looking at is Dallas Goedert. It's tight end. As you can see, last year, his prop on Prizepicks is 4. Let's push this down to 4. I didn't look at this earlier. I looked at it at 4.5. Let's push it down to 4. Last year, he went over 56%. He got 4 or more 56% of the time. This year, in one game, he had 1 target, 0 catches. But as you can see, the head coach addressed that immediately after the game. Expect Dallas Goedert to be more involved this game. They basically blamed it on the weather and all that. They're not playing a good defense this week against Minnesota. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be tossing it around more. I don't think we see much running out of Hurts. So I like Dallas Goedert to go over 4 receptions. Kirk Cousins, pass TDs. His prop on Prizepicks is 1.5. As you can see, we have a projection here of 1.97. Let's look at Kirk a little closer here. And we'll look at his last 10. His last 10, he's went over 1.5 for pass TDs in 58% of the games. Let's look at the away. It's Minnesota's on the road at Philadelphia. Away in the last 10, he's only went over 38% of the time of his away games. Let's look at versus Philadelphia. See if we have anything versus Philly. At Philadelphia last year, he had 1 touchdown in the one game he had at Philly. Let's look at 2023. That game was at home. He had 2 touchdowns against Tampa Bay. And let's go back again to 2022, 2023. Like I say, 58% of the time during the season. Narrow it down to the away. 38% of the time. He's facing a much tougher defense than he played last week. I think he'll get a lot of yards between the 20s, but I'm not gonna bet that he gets 2 touchdown passes. I'm gonna go with the under 1.5 pass TDs for Kirk Cousins against Philadelphia. Lines over here, not much money's coming in either way. You see, if it's a slight difference between the over and the under. DraftKings got it -120 to go under. Caesars got it -125 to go under. And you see PointsBet got it -125 to go over. So I'm going to go with the numbers here, and I'm going to take Cousins to go under 1.5 pass TDs. A.J. Brown receiving yards. The prop on Prizepicks is 73.5. This number will go up. This video has been recorded early in the week. You see at the books right now, he's around 75.5. That's the line with a projection of 74.93. Let's look at him a little closer. And we will look at his last 10. We'll look at his last season. We'll look at the whole season. He went over, and let's push this down to 73.5. 73.5. He went over 52% of the time during the season. This game is in home. Home last year, he went over 50% of the time. Let's look at versus Minnesota last year. He had 69 yards in his one game against Minnesota last year. That was early in the season. And let's look at 2022, 2023. 2023, which is the last game. Get rid of this filter. He had 79 yards in the game against New England. Over here at 75.5. That's the spread at most of the books right now. You do see a 72.5 at DraftKings. No real money, and at Caesars, no real money's coming in either way on this right now. And here, I'm just going with how I think the game is going to play out. I think Hurts will be putting the ball in the air a little bit more. Of course, his rushing is going to be always part of the game plan, but Baker Mayfield didn't have to rush to beat him. I know Jalen Hurts doesn't have to rush to beat him. I think we see a little bit more air action from Hurts. I'm going to take the over on A.J. Brown's 73.5 receiving yards. Justin Jefferson. The line on Prizepicks is 92.5. This will go up also. You can see out of the sports books over here under odds, you can see it as high as 96.5. Some play, even DraftKings have it a little lower at 91.5, and so does Caesars. No big money coming in either way on this prop right now. At 92.5, he's went over this prop. This is 2022, 2023. 63% of the time he had 150 yards last week against Tampa Bay. Let's look at versus Philadelphia. In his game against Philadelphia last year, he had 48 receiving yards. Looks like he was targeted 12 times in that game. And let's go back to 2022. Yeah, so I'm just looking at his targets. Average of 10.8 targets per game. And let's look at just 2023, the one game he had against Tampa Bay. 150 yards. Looks like 12 targets again. He had 9 receptions out of the 12 targets for a long of 42. And let's go back to that Philadelphia game of last year. Again, 12 targets, 6 receptions. He only had a long, average long of 11, looks like. No, receiving long. His longest catch last year against Philadelphia in the Philadelphia game was 11 yards. So he's a stud. He's their stud. 150 yards last game. If I'm not mistaken, he's on a contract year. I think we see big things out of him. I know everybody likes that guy on the other side of him, the other receiver. Forget his name. Addison. Everybody likes Addison. But I still think Jefferson is the man, and Cousins is going to go to him as much as possible. This number will go up from 92.5 on Prizepicks. Again, it's early in the week. Have to jump on them early if we can. First to the market always wins. Not always, but most of the time. So I'm going to take Jefferson over 92.5 receiving yards. Jalen Hurts. Looking at his rush yards, the line is 45.5. We see a projection here of 35. Let's look at him a little closer. Last 10, he's only went over 45.5 rush yards 42% of the time. Last game against New England, he had 37. Let's look at the game last year against Minnesota. He had 57 rush yards. Over here, there's really DraftKings and Caesars are really the only ones that have a line on this right now. Money's not coming in hard either way. Again, I want to be specific here. I just don't think he will rush as much as usual. Let's look at his Thursday night games to see if he has any. Monday to the other. Well, it doesn't give me Sunday, Monday. Let's see if other gives us Thursday. I'm thinking these are Thursday night games. When it says other, I would have to go back and check the calendar. But in these other games, other than Sunday and Monday night, he's gotten 23 and 34 rush yards. In home, let's take away the other. And in home, he's only last year, 2022, 2023, over 45 yards, only 27% of the time in home. And let's look at the whole season. Again, 42% of the time. Again, if Baker Mayfield can beat Minnesota through the air, so can Jalen Hurts. Under 45.5 rushing yards. So those are a few plays that I like. You can follow my plays over on Patreon. The link is down in the description. The tool that I use is props.cash to help me quickly get to where I need to get on these props. It works for every sport. NFL, NCAA football. I haven't done much NCAA football, but I will. MLB, WNBA, and NBA. It works on them all. It's very effective, and it's my go-to tool when I'm trying to determine which way I'm going to go on these props. Go ahead and like, subscribe. All those things would be greatly appreciated. See you on the next video.